they serve together. For honour, for history, for the next generation watching. Strength, resilience, unbreakable resolve. Army versus Navy.
But they're over! First try for the Navy!
Right through Purr's glove. Wonderful stuff once again. It's another year and another trophy lift for the British Army.
Hello and welcome back to Twickenham, where we have already seen a famous victory for the Royal Navy, going back-to-back in this fixture and the Inter-Services Championship for the first time in over 50 years. Now it is the turn of the women to compete for that famous Babcock Trophy. Now the Army are undoubtedly the favourites, but the Royal Navy have got some serious fight in them. So first up, let's hear from the captains, who both spoke to Kath a short while ago.
Jade, well, here we are again. It feels like rinse and repeat for you guys, but just how much preparation goes into this Army-Navy Day?
Yeah, a lot of preparation. Obviously, we have a few fixtures leading up to it. Put all the hard work in, and hopefully we showcase it today.
And one of those fixtures a month or so ago was Canada under-21s. I mean, the fact that they asked for you to play them is such a privilege, and we've seen a feature on it as well. It must be such a privilege, but also you know that that's how your game's going to get better.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a real honour to play Canada under-21s. You know, it's the next generation, the future of the international squad. So yeah, to face them, a really physical opposition, really fast sort of game, and it's something that we definitely need to build into the inter-services to show how intense it's going to be, especially with all our new players coming through.
Ellie, your first Army-Navy as captain of the Royal Navy. What's this occasion like? I know you've been here as a player before, but what's it like to lead a team out here?
Oh, it's definitely like an honour for me personally. It's something that I wanted to do in a couple of years' time. I didn't think it would come around so soon. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity, really, and that the coaches trust me to lead out the team today.
I think everyone's aware that the Navy needed to make improvements on the last couple of years. You're spearheading that along with the new head coach, Jez Parsons. I know that the camaraderie there, I know that teamwork's there. It may take a while for you to get the scores on the board, but you're confident you're a better team all round this year.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we're coming off a 96-0 deficit from last year. That's not going to be something we turn around in 1-2 years' time. So it's definitely just building on that and getting that deficit down year on year. And that's what we're looking to do this year.
Well, welcome back, and I'm joined pitchside by, first of all, Flight Lieutenant Sarah Bonner. Is this right, a promotion? Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you very
Along
much.
with Lieutenant Colonel Charlie Maxwell and England World Cup winner Rachel Burford. What a lineup we have for you, and what a prospect we have today, because we've already had a spectacular fixture. I mean, I think it's 4 years now that the women have been playing in this Twickenham Stadium. And in those 4 years, the men's game's got better as a result. I think they've had to up their game, right?
Yeah, massively. The men's performance today, it was literally toe-to-toe. Well, Army didn't come away with it. I'm here with my dad. He's got his Army jersey on, so he's gutted, but it was a fantastic game.
Yeah. Rachel, I mean, this stadium, wow, what a place to get to play, right?
Yeah, it's an incredible stadium. You know, very few get to run out on the Hello Turf here at Twickenham, and you know, super excited to see the girls run out. And you know, for me, the national anthem for the men's game was electric. Very, like, how often do you get every single person in the stadium just singing the single anthem? And it was amazing, and I can't wait for the women to feel that too.
Absolutely, yeah, Charlie. I mean, this fixture, particularly now that it's under this roof, is very special.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gutted because I never actually got to play here for the Army, but really proud the girls do. And it's such an amazing opportunity for both teams to play at Twickenham now, and shows absolute parity across the service.
Yeah, I mean, we heard the captain speaking there, and particularly from the Navy point of view. There's a lot of leadership changes. This is, you know, they've got a lot of work to do, but clearly they see that is a long-term project, right?
Yeah, massively. Like, they've acknowledged that this is a 3 to 5 year build. They've got new management, new coaches, new captain. That's change that takes a wee while to instill and see kind of like the profits from it, if you like. So this game will be about small wins, looking at 5-minute sections. Can we retain ball? Can we keep Army out for longer periods? And I think that will be a win from a Navy point of view.
Yeah, well, from the Army's point of view, they're obviously the favourites within this fixture. Their dominance is clear and has been for many years, and it's been noticed at an international level.
Heads up everywhere. You need to be relentless out there.
Nice girls, hands up, make sure that we pass, see it through. I'm Sarah Mitchelson and I'm the Army head coach, and today we're taking on Canada under-21s.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
1, 2, 3,
And the fact that they think that we would be a competitive team to play, one is a great honour, and there was no way that I was going to turn it down. It'll test us in every single way. It's a showcase of our rugby and that we can play these big oppositions, and no matter what the score is, we can really polish on our performance. And if we can defend against teams like these and attack and hopefully score points against teams like these, then we can do that against the inter-services teams as well.
If you're running out for the first time in the red shirt for the Army, it's a fantastic honour, and there'll be a buzz of excitement, those kind of anxiety, stroke anticipation, butterflies building in the stomach. There'll be that player concern, wanting to do the best of their teammates, not wanting to let anyone down.
Hello, how are you doing? You all right?
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Anne O'Flynn. I'm the Director of Rugby for the Army Women's Rugby Team. I'm a former international of England, Red Rose number 70. Matches like this are essential for us to really test out our combinations, get some of our new exciting emerging players playing alongside seasoned capped Army players who've been playing the team for a few seasons. So really exciting fixture. So as someone who's experienced rugby on both sides, playing both for the Army and also being international myself, I can really appreciate how fantastic this fixture is. A chance for us to play an international team, and again it gives us a chance to really demonstrate what we've got, to try out potentially some new moves, some new combinations, but also to see where we stand in our preparation for the inter-services later this year. Playing international sides is a fantastic honour, but we take that as a challenge, we look forward to it, and it's great that now sides like Canada are looking to us for competition. They're requesting our opposition, they're looking to us to provide a really good test for them.
Those girls were like the most respectful, hard-working opponents that we had this whole tour, and so it was an honor to play against them.
It's like something really exciting. I've obviously had the honour of like playing against England under 20s a few years ago, and like they've just gone and won the World Cup, and we played against some of those like future talented players, and that's why I reminded the team out there, like even though we were getting dominated in some areas, we're facing the future of professional rugby. Like some of those girls, women, will be in the next World Cup, and that's like exciting. To say that you played against them, like what more can you ask for?
Well, Sarah, you were talking about the Navy and what they need to do to improve. Blooming heck, the Army are improving as well. That's bad news for most of us.
Yeah, no, it is. Like, Navy are wanting to kick on and they've got to change, but then you see from that VT, like the Army are seeking out class opposition to prep themselves for the inter-services, and with those tough games, you learn an awful lot from. So from that, they just keep on improving.
Yeah, I think from an Army's perspective, they've been setting the standards for a very long time, but they don't want to stand still. And they know that if they do stand still, the likes of the Navy and the RAF will also keep pushing and driving that standard. So the fact that they have that ambition and they want to improve and drive their standard and keep showing up and keep pushing and try and bring more people with it, I think it's really, really important that, you know, that they're setting that standard, but also trying to push it even further.
Yeah, and Charlie, the fact that they are then in turn, you know, teams like Canada have got an eye on them. I mean, that tells you something, that they're being recognised on the world stage. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, the motto is clearly be the best, and you can only be the best if you keep attaining new standards. Absolutely. I think it's probably out of the International Defence Rugby Cup last year that was held in the UK, that international opposition are now actually aware of the team, and when they're coming into the UK, we're a good warm-up fixture for those clearly not the full international teams, but for their development sides, it's a good opposition. It gives them, so although it's a comprehensive defeat, we give them pressure in the areas that they will be looking to develop, and so it's a good fixture for them and us.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before we get into today's action, let's let you caught up with the one inter-services game that has been played so far. Northampton, the venue, the RAF took on the Royal Navy.
It's the Battle of the Blues for the opening salvo as the Inter-Service Rugby Union Championships return for 2026. And coming quickly now, just inches away from that whitewash. And they score the first try of this match right now. Tyler Lewis bundling through, the referee putting his arm up, and it's the Royal Air Force who score first. And that's well taken by Orla Proctor. Very, very nice indeed, summing up the space just outside her. That's very, very nice from the Royal Air Force, exploiting that space perfectly. And Hannah McCabe on debut, scoring a try just off the left wing. And they break their duck in this game at the Royal Navy. Right, the ball comes. Griffiths this time, trying to dummy inside. Griffiths for the line. Griffiths stretching, and Griffiths scores. A try for the Royal Navy. Out it comes, quick ball once more for the Royal Air Force. Out it comes, and this time, Keris McNevin just touched over, it's Fro. What a game she has had, and an absolutely brilliant debut. A jubilant win for the Royal Air Force, 36 points to 7. Big hugs all around, celebrations, champagne sprayed as well, with the Royal Air Force players absolutely jubilant and jumping up and down after their wonderful victory here at Cinch Stadium.
Well, if the Army win today, it sets up a winner-takes-all head-to-head between the RAF and the Army at Kingsholm in a couple of weeks. But let's get into the here and now, and we can hear from some of the coaching staff. The Royal Navy's head coach, Jez Parsons, followed by Stuart Jackson, who's the Army forwards coach. There with Kath.
Jez Parsons, we've talked already about the journey that Royal Navy Women's Rugby is on at the moment. Do you, a loss against the RAF, but they achieved a lot of what you were looking for. As you head into an even bigger game here, how's the feeling in the camp?
Do you know what, we were really disappointed against the RAF, and we knew the mistakes we made. We're looking to put that right today, go through our systems, go through our phase plays, and what better place to be on a part of our journey in that development strategy than at the home of rugby.
Stu, big day always here at home of rugby, really, home of England rugby anyway. Army come into this always strong, always favourites, but I know that you work so closely behind the scenes to make sure that you're always at your best here.
Absolutely, it's like the 0.5%. As a squad, we always try to build an overall structure throughout our season. It's not just about the opposition, it's about a whole team performance, how we put the whole team performance on, and then looking at individuals and how we can build them up, put them up. And we want the best from our players, so it's trying to develop them on their individual level in the unit skills in the squad. So what we want to do is put on a performance of and showcase women's rugby and what it's about.
Still under the leadership of Jade Mullen, so solid there, you know, leading the game on the pitch. How many other, I know you've got some new faces come into the team this year. Who should we be looking for out there?
I'd like to say every single one. I want to be a good coach. Being a forwards coach, I'd definitely say look for the pack. I'm excited for some front row, love a bit of scrummaging, so I'm really excited to get into that. I think the Navy had a good scrum against the RAF, so I'm really looking forward to that battle. Luca Dua coming off the bench into that tight position. Really exciting player in the open. Lauren Evans as well, Lou said. Again, exciting in the open players. Lottie Ball, second cap today, I believe, coming out open side flanker. Watch again, these players will be exciting in the breakdown, the open play all over that pitch. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, the brollies are out, not least because my hair just turns into an absolute mess if it gets wet. But because the weather is just starting to turn a little bit, and it does feel a little bit ominous. I'm wondering actually how this sort of affects the game, perhaps, because you know the Army love to get ball in hand, throw it around a wee bit. I wonder if actually, if it starts, you know, really throwing it, it can turn into a bit of a muscle match, which might be in the Navy's favour.
Well, yeah, you could look at it two ways. It's kind of tuck up the jumper and go for it. But watching the two warm-ups, Army are physical. So, yeah, it's can Navy front up and just take it to them?
Yeah, you'd like to think, you know, we've all got weather apps, we've all would have seen the forecast, so they've probably got a plan B coming into this, and whether it's a bit more territorial, try and put a bit of pressure on the opposition, keeping them down in their own half. But as Sarah Bonner said, you know, the physicality, the Army have got a very physical pack, and, you know, just hearing there from Jez about his pack and that some of those players are really stepping up to the mark. So it'll be really fascinating how that kind of physical battle plays out against these two sides.
Yeah, the skin's waterproof at the end of the day. And I mean, yeah, as the girls have said, the Army, they can play in pretty much any climate, any condition. They can front up at the best of times, right?
Yeah, I was going to say the experience we've got from 1 to 23 in the team, absolutely. I don't think the weather's going to have that much of an impact. I do think it will become a shorter game. Clearly Twickenham's an extremely wide pitch, so it does play towards a more defensive game, but I don't see that changing the outcome of the fixture, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Just a quick word on here we are playing in this, you know, one of the greatest cathedrals of rugby, and I could admit that even as a Scotsman, but of course we've seen history this year in the Six Nations, the Women's Six Nations. You know, the Red Rosies taking on Scotland inside the main stadium at Murrayfield. Just another, you know, huge bound forward within the women's game.
Yeah, massively. I was going to say, JJ, this is not HQ. Murrayfield is. But yeah, to have a record-breaking crowd for women's sport in Scotland at Murrayfield, and that to be rugby, is phenomenal.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, look at this. The band is playing, the atmosphere is building. It really does add to the spectacle, and the fact that we are in this hallowed of ground, we've talked about it a little bit, but it just, you know, it just keeps to build and build and build, which is what we need at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we're constantly seeing records broken, stadiums filled out, branching out, you know, unions being braver, playing at the big stadiums. And today is another marker in women's rugby. You know, the opportunity we've seen with the Army playing here, the Army-Navy game becoming such a historical game in the calendar. Everybody knows about it. And the women have only been part of that for a very short time, and they're building their own legacy. So for them to be here, and they talked in the week about the fact that they've got to represent the people before them. Yourself didn't get the chance to play here, but they're playing for you. You know, they know the responsibility that they have by being able to play here.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful words. Beautiful scenes here as well. Now Rachel's about to hot foot up to the commentary place to take her place alongside Erica Kiwi-Mills and Simon Hunter. It's nearly time for the second of today's Army-Navy in this doubleheader. Another chapter of brilliant inter-services sport coming very shortly.
Home is where the heart is, and English Rugby's HQ leaves a special mark in the hearts and minds of every player who graces this hallowed turf. It's an honour for these sides not only to line out in this famed corner of southwest London, but of course to represent their services and make history in this historic annual fixture. As far as the 2026 inter-services go, these teams walk onto the pitch in rather different contexts. For the Royal Navy, they're looking to bounce back from a 36-7 defeat to the RAF in Northampton just a fortnight ago. For the Army, well, it's a case of aiming for rinse and repeat. 96-0 victors in this fixture last year. What a cathedral of rugby this is. Allianz Stadium, Twickenham. The Army, of course, wanting a rinse and repeat of what they did last year. Comprehensive 96-0 victory for them. Of course, all change at the helm, as you've heard, in the Royal Navy. Ellie Brightwell standing, an honour, she says, it'll be to lead her side onto the hallowed turf here. And what a challenge, what an opportunity, especially after that result a couple of weeks ago in Northampton. Brilliant to have alongside me today in the commentary. British Army and UCAF rugby legend Erica Kiwi Mills. Well, what a match we're in store for here. As the pyrotechnics go up, the players get ready to get out onto the pitch. The rain is coming down, but I don't expect that to dampen the atmosphere at all, or certainly the playing style of these two teams.
No, I think we're going to see a really fierce encounter today. It's going to be physical. The Army, we can predict, are going to be looking to spread the ball wide. Will the rain hinder that? Probably not. They've still got the ambition to go with their what they've been working on in training and playing a more expansive game, but I think we're in for a really good encounter, and hopefully the lower tier can bring that atmosphere.
And what we saw a couple of weeks ago up at Cinch Stadium, the Royal Navy starting off with what seemed like a slightly different game plan. A few balls over the top, kicking quite a bit in those first 15-20 minutes. But then the RAF was able to exert a lot of pressure, especially on that Navy try line, and they weren't able to exit. Obviously today, that's going to be absolutely crucial.
Yeah, really key that they learn on that from the last game, but actually I think there's a greater emphasis in the second half where the scoreline was a lot closer. I believe it was a draw, and obviously the Navy came away with their try of that game. So watch all eyes on the second half, I think, from a Navy perspective. I think they've shown what they can do in the second half in the previous game. So
well, a moment of applause now for all those who've lost their lives in service, all those serving around the world as well. And lovely to hear that warm reception here at the home of English rugby as well. Now time for the national anthem. Just moments away from kickoff in this latest edition of a wonderfully historic showdown between the Army and the Navy. And a quick look at the sides today. A late change for the British Army. Number 15, Jess McCauley, is out. And she'll be replaced at 15 by Jay Ash. And Hayley Scholes moving in to play left wing, retaining the number 23 shirt, however. And Sarah Mitchelson talking about the return of Manakalu Komatai as well, her stint for Fiji, scoring against Samoa last weekend, while fellow forward Heidi Silcox makes her Army record 41st cap today. And what a nucleus of scrum half Charlie Morgan, so-called Captain Fantastic Jade Mullen at fly half, and Lou Dodd at inside centre. For the Royal Navy, scorer against the Royal Air Force in Northampton, Philippa Griffiths takes the 10 shirt of Cheryl Goodwin, while star outside back Jazz Abel lines out at 13 today, with former captain Rose Dixon inside her. New skipper Ellie Brightwell, who spoke yesterday of the wonderful honour of lining out for her side as captain. She's in the number 8 shirt. And the officials, referee Flight Sergeant Craig Johnson will be joined by his assistants, Flight Lieutenant Nick Corrigan and Corporal Trev McIntosh. The Army making their way towards the halfway line and making her way into the commentary gantry just beside us, hop-fitting up rather well, it must be said. It's England World Cup winner Rachel Burford, who I must say has done a wonderful job of sprinting. You must have sprinted up those steps.
I got very lucky with the lifts. They came just on time, managed to get up here just for the anthems. Really excited about this one. Like, obviously we know that Army are going to be coming into this very confident, given their history, but the Navy will certainly want to put up a fight.
Lou Dodd getting us underway. Ball going towards the left wing and spilled forward. So immediate advantage for the Army. Knock on, and it will be a put in for the red shirts.
Yeah, that's not the start that you want for any player, but actually we see a scrum early on and we get to see where the matchups are physically. I think both coaches talked about the scrum and the physicality that both packs will bring, so this will be a really early exposure of what's to come.
Crouch! The Army with the experienced Charlie Morgan, 15 caps, the red shirts over the years.
Let's get it right. Okay. If you need more
Craig
space,
Johnson
let's
just
take more space.
trying to lay down the law and ensure that at this early stage of this clash, the scrums are setting correctly. Well, Rachel, you mentioned just before the game about the standards that the Army, of course, keep trying to improve upon. Sarah Mitchelson always looking for little tweaks and little things that she can drill her players on. It's going to be fascinating today to see how they do so if they can.
Yeah, and that's, a really good sign of a team that want to be a performance side, and very much so from the Army's perspective. They want and they're hungry for other opposition to really test them and push them, which they got with that Canada fixture, playing at a certain level. So it'll be interesting to see what developments we'll see today.
Trying to fly that out through the back line. And playing advantage for a high tackle as well. And there is a bit of space there. Can Lauren Brooks find it? Getting it out to Manikalu Komitai. What a start for the British Army. Just back from an international stint with Fiji. And what a wonderful start. Almost picking up where she left off from IS Championship 2025. Wow.
Yeah, good intercept play there, and a good inject through the line from Jay, who was obviously at short notice moved to fullback to create that go forward and put the Army on the front foot. And then there aren't many other people that you'd want on the wing, to be honest. She's power, she's speed, she is very much working towards being the complete package. So great opener for Komitai.
But what about the work rate? Obviously, she was in that set piece at the number 8 position, makes her way all the way over to the left-hand side. But what's great about this try is it got a bit messy, but nobody panicked. Everybody stayed alive, stayed aware of where the ball was going to be, didn't all crowd around it. And then Komitai, like she did last year, opened up the try.
Courtney Pursglove looks to add the extras. Not the easiest of angles and just striking the uprights. So no conversion on that occasion. But nevertheless, the Army go 5-0 ahead. Not even 3 minutes of this match played. There's a lot of talk from Jez Parsons, head coach of the Royal Navy, and Ellie Brightwell, that new leadership dynamic, about how they wanted to sharpen things up on the pitch. And they've got their work cut out this afternoon. Very good start for the Army as Griffiths looks to restart. Taken nicely by Sam West. Continuing through the forwards, and Lauren Brooks, player of the match in this fixture last year, Brooks. And choosing the backline options these time.
Backwards.
Courtney Pursglove trying to clean up.
Okay, it was a knock on in the
A little bit slippery at the moment. Perhaps some of that recent rain has slickened things up a little.
Okay,
yeah, the occasion here definitely comes into play, especially in the first 10-20 minutes of the fixture. We've seen a couple of knock-ons. We've seen potentially the slippery ball that we might see for the rest of the game. We've seen drop ball, but I don't think any game can really be predicted, or the scoreline can be predicted based on the opening 10 minutes, especially for the Forces. This day is extra special, and the occasion definitely has an impact on that. I know the Army are very privileged to have a psychologist in camp to help them. So yeah, I think first 10 minutes, settle the nerves and remember the basics and the game plan that both sides are here to execute today.
Another member of that leadership pack, so to speak, for the Royal Navy. Josie Parnaby at number 9 today.
Height, both of you, okay?
Started against the Royal Air Force in Northampton.
Okay.
Earning her 6th cap for the senior service. Interesting formation with Libby Fox right behind Griffiths and Dixon, a decoy runner. Abel. The Army putting the pressure on defensively. And Navy retain it. So they go through the phases here if they can. Go through the phases, they do. Rosie Staples this time. Trying to power her way through. Dixon doing her best to try and clear out. The Army up like a flash. Sam West again. Griffiths to Dixon.
Penalty advantage.
Advantage
Red
being
4
played
offside.
now. Offside. Heidi Silcox of the Army. The referee marches them back.
Yeah, that was good patience there from Navy. You know, not necessarily making any indents, but just protecting the ball, looking after it. And then that eagerness from the Army to get off the line, force that infringement. It's given them some nice territorial back distance here, if they can make touch.
Well, we saw a few kicking errors from the Royal Navy a couple of weeks ago in that inter-services opener, and I'm afraid, again, not finding touch. A bit of kick tennis going on.
Keep retreating, thank you.
We know her threat with ball in hand, but also with the boot. She's been a key member of that side for more than one reason. But, through it comes now, Beth Wilcox.
On ball, fine.
What's good to see, Si, is
Release
the
now.
Navy's intent to mix up their gameplay. We haven't necessarily seen them with a kicking game and a kicking option before, so to see them execute that against the RAF, and again to look to make those more intelligent decisions with territory, I think that's a really good, promising step change for Navy rugby.
Griffiths again. Finding herself in that wall. Staples too being held up.
Use it!
A bit slow for the Navy at the moment. Mullen up very quickly on Dixon. The Army doing very well not to give them any advantage here on the gain line. Back comes the skipper this time. Bundled back by Sophie Benevent and Sarah Batley. Kafoa this time.
Use it!
Struggling to get quick ball here, the Navy. Jade Mullen doing her best to try and slow things down. Dixon and, well, that ball's
Scrum
come
advantage.
forward.
2 hands on it.
Referee calling scrum advantage.
Scrum advantage for the knock-on.
Trying to go wide now through Flo Mullet's hands.
Penalty
Jade
advantage.
Mullen, an absolutely crunching challenge there, and the referee coming back for that advantage.
Yeah, I think despite coming back for that advantage, we're seeing some high-risk defensive output from the Army here, so that must be part of Sarah Mitchelson's plan.
Josie Parnaby going through the middle and gaining some ground for her side. What can they do with this
Penalty
opportunity?
advantage, 2, never back
Advantage
foot.
being called as well as they inch
2,
over the
never back
22.
foot.
Army have to be careful here. Still they march forward, the Navy. Leica Swain this time.
She's legal. Okay, 2.
It's
Drop
just
back
discipline from
2.
the Army.
Post
Offside, in and around the breakdown as well. But what about that shot from Jade Mullen, curling off the line, stopping any time or space for Navy be able to get that ball away.
Just on, yeah, in that line, fine.
Well, Griffiths pointing to the posts, waiting for the kicking tee. Not finding touch on the last penalty occasion.
And how about that? Your first Army-Navy game, 19 years old, and steps up and goes, do you know what? I'll take this for the team. Great bravery.
Yeah, I was about to comment on Jay's decision-making there. Her experience, her rugby IQ is second to none, particularly in defence. She absolutely lives for it. And then here we have the complete opposite of inexperience, but someone who's confident to have a go. And I think this is how the Army get on, the Navy get on the score sheet, and how they can try and find momentum for themselves in getting some points on the board. So really great to see.
Well, the kick hasn't been successful.
Yeah.
Griffiths scoring a try against the Royal Air Force, coming off the bench in that match. So
they made it dead. 22,
promising
yeah.
start to her services.
Yep.
It's the early intent for me from the Navy. They're kicking where we wouldn't think they would. They're opting to kick for posts where we wouldn't normally see them.
Well, Brightwell thinks she's through, but the referee has blown his whistle. Charging down that kick of Lou Dodd.
She's the last person to touch it. Blue has played into in goal, and she's made it dead. So we'll have goal line dropout.
Goal line dropout.
Yep.
Noted by the referee here.
And Nick?
It's one of those laws that's a slightly...
Goal line dropout. Yeah, so we're just
it's
trying
good
to
on the
work out
referee to come back, recognises that...
Before she touched it. Okay, we'll have goal line dropout.
Because the Army touched the ball in the dead ball area and they were responsible for it going dead, it now becomes a goal line dropout, not from the 22. So hopefully off this kick now gives Navy an opportunity to strike back again.
Bit of a grubbering kick into the hands of Griffiths. Jazz Abel, we know her threat. Ball in hand. Libby Fox can't get hold of that.
Okay, won't go quick now, thank you.
Just probably moved that ball a little bit too early. Just needed to draw Jade Mullen in slightly. Be good to see Fox there, just stepping off the wing, back inside against the grain, against the defenders.
Versatility, Kiwi, of this Army side is clear to see, with Sam West coming from the back row into the number 2 shirt, Lauren Brooks in the second row.
Yeah, and also Becky Wilson, who has now got an appetite to run out of the back row, which she's always had the skill set to do. I think it's probably the nature of the all-round rugby player that we see in the Army squad, back, forward, and the interchange of that. So physicality is very similar across the board.
Well, an important tackle there on Lou Dodd. But the Army continue to move forward.
Keep working.
Go through the phases. Sophie Benevent using their power. Brooks in support.
Lost now, lost Blue, lost, clear rack.
Mullen. Oh, and a very nice handoff as well from Meg Fisher.
6 out! Lost now.
Morgan
Thank
looking
you.
for that.
Rack formed.
It comes once more. Mullen this time. Firing it across. Lou Dodd. And out it comes. And it's going to be another Army score. Bundled over. A tackle. Doesn't stop her. And that's wonderful stuff. Jay Ash scoring for the British Army.
I think we'll see that a lot for the remainder of this fixture. Si, you and I talked before the game about the nucleus and the cohesion between 9, 10 and 12 for the Army. Seeing Lou Dodd's back in the side, she is a stalwart of the game. Her rugby IQ is immense, as is her distribution, and I think that will probably unlock a lot of their open play in the back line today, as we've just seen there.
Yeah, it's quite a clever play. She can distribute as well, but she is a big ball carrier. Jade Mullen has a threat out the back as well, but this is all about recycling, reorganising, big line break on that left-hand side, and then look at the organisation, look at the width that the Army have got on it. Really good tackle on the end there, wasn't quite enough. It's a really well-worked team try for the Army.
It's 20 seconds now, okay?
Pursglove going to take the conversion. Just pulling it across the face of the post this time. So 10-0 the score. Army leading the Royal Navy here. Less than 15 minutes played, Allianz Stadium, Twickenham. A lot's been made in the lead up to this match. Kiwi of Jay Ash's pace and threats out wide, and very exciting, especially after a debut against Canada. to see what she's made of.
Yeah, she really raised her name in the Canadian game, her work rate, her physicality and her speed, but also as a winger that is able to create space for herself as well, which I think is really important. So I'm excited to see her today. She's one of my one to watch, and yeah, just the confidence there to finish that one. I think we'll see more of it.
Well, look at the formidable power here from Lauren Brooks, knowing that she's got comms right outside her. Manikalu Komatai, has she the pace to make the line on the left wing? You bet she has. In for a second, and not even 20 minutes played. That's wonderful, and what a star she is.
Yeah, I think that there is an example of some individual brilliance. Lauren Brooks, obviously played at Harlequins. Rachel, I'm sure you know Brooksy well, and yeah, just the physicality to break the line, break the tackle, and be aware of who she's got in support of her. Yeah, so I think the physicality mismatch here, especially in a little bit of open play, but the pace to finish.
Yeah, just Brooksy just has a look up and just takes them on physically, bounces through two of them, gets the fend out for the next one, and then scan in, and great cover from comms to be right on her inside. Don't know if that means that she didn't think Brooksy would have the legs to go all the way, but what a finish, quality finish, 50 metres out, get her second try.
It's been a busy start with the boot for Courtney Pursglove. She lines up to try and make this one a success. Well, it's good this time. Nicer side for the right-footed kicker. And the Army lead the Royal Navy by 17 points to 0. The rain continues to fall. A little heavier a moment ago was the forecast. How much will it influence the style in this game remains to be seen. But so far for the British Army, they haven't let anything affect them whatsoever. Playing very similarly to how they did last year with that thumping 96-0 thrashing. And Brooks once again, fantastic option for the Army as a ball carrier. Silcox to Batley.
4 out.
Up to halfway, and a nice little grubber through from Jade Mullen. Looking on the outside, Hayley Scholes.
Penalty advantage.
Back.
High from 23.
Penalty advantage being played to the Navy.
Players drop, but 23 is high.
Well, Kath Brazier is pitch side with Jez Parsons, Royal Navy head coach, and we'll go down to her now.
Jez, the scoreline is what it is. The Army will always come out strong.
Maybe, yeah.
Are you seeing any of those little wins, anything that you've picked out? I mean, they've had a very good chance, you know, which is probably more than we saw last year.
Absolutely, you know, we're getting into the right areas, we're playing our phases right. We're stretching the Army's defence, not just trying to hit straight down the middle. Yeah, we were unlucky with the one kick as well, but we're playing in the right areas. What we're doing now is just missing tackles in the middle. Just need a bit of leadership in that area. I think we should tighten that up.
And that's a mindset, isn't it? That's what you're looking for. I think last year the team were overwhelmed by the whole occasion, but you've got some leaders out there and they really need to draw it together and not lose their heads at times like that.
Absolutely, you know, the occasion is where it is.
The curse of Kath hits again. Sorry, Jez, but as the Army go again. But, you know, the Navy just keep their heads up.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like you say, we've got leaders in that area. We are building nicely. We are playing some nice phases. We just got to make our tackles now, otherwise it might be a long day for us.
Thanks, Jez Parsons. See you soon.
Well, Kath Brazier, once again, I'm afraid that curse is hit, as she said. Jay Ash showing a real pace. Yeah. Wonderful stuff for her.
You've got time, okay?
And just backing up all that's been said about her in the lead up to this fixture. The referee wanting a chat with the two captains. A few afters after that try was scored.
Made that worse than it needs to be, okay? They scored a try. Yes.
Yeah, to bring it back to where it came from, and that was an Army steal in the line-out by Heidi Silcox, and she proves time and time again that is her absolute domain. She is so good and so talented in that area. She can read the game really well, and that obviously then set up for the rain and play and resulted in a try. So definite shout out to her on her 41st cap today, which I'm sure we'll come on to later.
Yeah, wonderful for her. And a nice kick from Courtney Pursglove. 24-0 now. The British Army lead the Royal Navy. And just under 20 minutes played in this historic fixture. The Army looking full of beans here. And, right across the park they've been impressive so far. Very clear they have options left and right, Kiwi.
Yeah, they do, and I was going to make a comment and touch on what the Navy head coach said about the leadership stepping up and making some decisions and having some conversations. One of them is the restart, but actually they've kicked it to Lauren Brooks twice now, who has gained metres each time. But you could almost take your pick from an Army physicality side, and you're going to get that return of physicality and gain line. So there is a leadership discussion to be had. I think just making those small tactical decisions is really important.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Well,
players down there, okay.
Bit of a break and play, and John Nyson has been checking out some of the social media comments from you watching on the BFBS Forces News YouTube.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you wherever you are around the world watching this game. And obviously a great start for the Army. A couple of mentions, first of all, to Rowan Sinclair, love from mum and dad at Lossiemouth, and Ross, who's in the Falklands at the moment. And Denise Campbell-Baldwin has said, waiting to see my young grandson as a mascot. His father is in the Royal Navy, but his grandfather was a soldier, and his great-grandfather as well. He's so excited. Great to see them earlier on, obviously doing the mascot bit. But yeah, keep those messages coming in. We'd love to hear from you.
And always great, John, of course, to see those family connections.
Absolutely.
Great to have you with us, wherever you may be today. Great to see support in the stadium here, whether you're down the road in Twickenham or somewhere international today. Always great to have your company with us. This most special of days. And Rosie Staples just getting a little looking over from the medics. Hopefully fine to continue, which she seems to be, I'm pleased to say. And the referee looks to resume matters here. Water running off as well. So it'll be a Royal Navy push in. Josie Parnaby getting ready. What's the key, Rachel Burford, at the moment for the Royal Navy really to stem the tide? I mean, we've just seen attack coming from left, right and centre from the Army so far.
Yeah, it's been really difficult. They haven't had much possession, and the possession that they did have, they're really struggling to win that defensive, battle in that gain line, and that's an option there. Putting it in behind, making the Army turn, then putting them under pressure, force them to play. But what you can't do is kick really loosely and allow them to have free open running space like that, because they will punish you.
Courtney Pursglove, dancing feet of hers, finding the space. Lovely side steps. The Army once again. Lou Dodd, great kicking option.
She was inside a half.
That she's been over the years. And putting Griffiths under a bit of pressure and an upward angle as well.
Keep working, keep retreating.
West trying to keep that ball in, which she seems to have done. Now to Morgan. Morgan looking to try and find a bit more space outside. Dixon just finding her way into the middle of that ruck.
Don't bite the penalty. Let's use it.
And, tricky to roll away, but the Army continue to go through the phases. Benevent not quite linking up with Komatai.
Yeah, it's knocked on, no advantage.
It's knocked on.
And I think that's quite fortunate for the Army there to knock that on. Again, just their organisation off the ball. They're clearly something they've been working on, making sure that their pods are set. Slightly missed timing on that occasion. But for the Navy, I'd like to hope that messages are getting in from the breakdown. They had 6 players on the short side there, marking absolutely nobody. So if that ball did go to hand, the threat's out wide. So that's where they're really dangerous. We've already seen the pace of those outside channels. So just being really smart, looking up how many numbers have we got in front of us. We've got to be able to work hard, because we know that the speed of ball that Army can generate and the number of phases that they can get through, we've got to be able to match that in the work rate.
Well, the rain coming down a little steadier now. Parnaby trying to clean that up.
Okay. It's trapped to the back. It's just turned.
He wants to reset the scrum.
Turn 90. We'll have same input. Ball's just got stuck in the back.
The scrums so far have been fairly evenly matched. I think it's been quite a good contest against the Packs, obviously just bringing it back for a reset there. So it'll be interesting to see what the Navy play from this, almost a half exit. So see what strategy they've got and what decisions the leaders are making to have a look at playing a bit more expansively despite the weather, but also just gaining that momentum and gaining some territory to put them in a position to have a look at exploring the Army's 22 and seeing what they can do down that end.
Harvey with the put in. Brightwell looking to come around the back from the number 8 position. Maybe just being pushed back a little bit. Jay Ash doing very good work in defence as well. The game she's having so far.
Out. 11 out.
Griffiths lining up to try and clear this. And, just going up into the air. Ash looking to take this through her hands, but backwards, and in fact backwards as well off the knee of Pursglove. But Ash wants more of it. Hungry for more. Lots of missed tackles from the Navy. It's taken at pace. Lottie Ball making her first inter-services appearance for the Army. Dodd to Mullen. And space opening up here for the Army. Pursglove, plenty to work with, but the referee blowing his whistle and calling them back. Forward pass. A few boos ringing out here, Kiwi, for that decision, but certainly being called as such.
Yeah, definitely making their allegiances known in the crowd. I think from a leadership perspective for the Navy, it would be coming back to the basics of defence. I think just getting that line set and getting the body positions in the position to make the tackles. At the minute, the Army are capitalising on poorer body positions in the first up tackles, so it would be getting around the 15 that are on the field at the minute and just going back to those basics and the fundamentals of the game to give them a foothold in this first half.
Another scrum for
we need a lot more stability on bind, yeah.
The referee's been spending a bit of time in this game so far, just trying to reset these scrums.
Back 5, hold off, or just hold that
Wester by the moment.
Set, okay.
Pitch perhaps getting a little greasier as well, and the ball, of course.
Ellie Brightwell's doing well at the back of the scrum. That is a skill that I think can sometimes go unnoticed. But what is nullifying the effort that's coming off the back of the scrum is actually how organised the Army are in defence off of the scrum and linking up with the back line. I think we've seen that a couple of times now where the Army are comfortable to kind of let the A pick, but then can connect in defence quite easily off the scrum, something which I know they've been working on this season.
I'm just waiting for this scrum to set correctly.
I'll step straight back, okay.
Ellie Brightwell, skipper, and Rowan Sinclair coming into shot as well. Very experienced in the back row.
Crouch!
Sinclair with 9 Royal Navy caps.
Bind!
And 8 caps for UCAF as well.
Set!
Coming around the corner again, but well telegraphed by the Army. With a little more time. Puts that ball centrally.
Don't advance till you pass.
Bounces kind to Pursglove. Summing up her options. Chooses the boot. Oh, that ball's gone forward. It's a bit messy.
Okay, player in front. The knock on. Player in front has played
Player
it.
in front.
Let's
And
go.
quickly taken by Lou Dodd. She sees a bit of space, does Dodd. Getting over the 22. Mullen in support. 5 metres here. Lottie Ball. They have options. Lauren Brooks screaming for that ball, trying to power her way over. Can she get there? Has that been grounded? I don't think it has. So knock on in goal.
Goal line drop out.
And the Royal Navy celebrating that. Little victory.
You touched on it before, Si, about Rowan's experience, and that was definitely, she had definitely had a part to play in that try-saving tackle there and that knock-on. Her playing her rugby at Leicester and kind of challenging her own standards and improving, and then her experience, which translates into the squad and also into UK Armed Forces, is being seen there. And yeah, a really lovely human as well.
Yeah, some more water coming on for the players as well. It's been quite a physical battle so far as well, Rachel Burford. And obviously, for the Army, that's been a physical battle a lot of the time in attack, but their defence has just been something to marvel at as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been really impressive. You know, Navy have really struggled to make any ground, to really dominate that gain line because of that presence. You know, they're set, they're getting off the line, they're forcing pressure. You've got a couple of players who are flying, and if you fly out the line on your own, you have to stop that ball, and they're doing that. But they're also being very, they're making decisions around when to go into the breakdown. So do we keep numbers on our feet so that we can have lots of line speed, that we can get up and put pressure onto the Navy? And so far it's been excellent.
Just wait for my time on.
Goal line drop out for Griffiths. Up it goes, and Dodd wants to take that rather low. A good catch as well, right in the 22. Morgan trying to go blind. Morgan spotting a bit of space, just pulled by Libby Fox. Lossy ball, keeping it in play. Heidi Silcox in her 41st appearance. Now Sophie Benevent. Hard to take down, Benevent. Just inches away now, the Army again. Mullen to Cometai. Has she got the power? That's good defence from the Navy on this occasion. They've numbers out left.
Move, no.
And a penalty. Quick take. And Mullen has lots of options here. Purr's glove. And good for Mullet to try and stop her.
Penalty advantage.
And an advantage being played. Trying to drive over with the forward pack. Have they got there? They have indeed.
Yes, ball's on the line.
Sophie Benevent scores this one. And another one, copy and paste for the British Army. Well, they're scoring them from everywhere today.
Yeah, we did see a really good tackle on Courtney Pursglove in the corner there to prevent the kind of first opportunity, but actually you look up and there are options. I think in that phase of play it felt like it was a matter of time before the Army went over, but there are still positives coming from individual defence efforts from the Navy. I think now if they can bring it together collectively, that's probably needs to be their focus for the remainder of this half.
I mean, that's an excellent catch from Lou Dodd there. They played against her many a times when she was at Wasp, just fully committed to the cause every single time, no matter what shirt that she is in. But you're right, constant options around the Army team, and it's just you're seeing that inexperience from the Navy. Some of the players who are playing, you know, not used to this environment, making small errors, big mistakes. That goal line dropout, the side weren't even set along the goal line to be able to have a connected chase to try and put pressure on.
Well, Sarah Mitchelson and her coaching staff will be delighted as the scoreboard keeps ticking over. 31-0 now to the Army. And just around half an hour played at Allianz Stadium. More missed tackles as well.
Release, knees down!
From the Navy. Ferocious counter-rucking there from Mullet. The Army just keep their composure. Silcox trying to burst through the middle.
Okay, side entry.
The Navy winning themselves a penalty.
Hey,
side entry. And taken quickly by Parnaby.
Yes, I'm happy.
Looking for a bit of space. Well tackled. Beth Wilcox this time. Olivia Kafoa recycling that ball.
Backwards.
Ball's gone back. Bit messy. Brightwell looking to clean up.
No, not on feet left. No, let release.
Lou Dodge being told that she can't keep contesting that. Griffiths a little chip over the top. But, well, Pursglove went to catch it. Ball went forward.
Knocked on.
Penalty
Player
called again. An opportunity here for the Royal Navy.
Knocked on. Player in front.
You mentioned Sarah Mitchelson being happy with that scoreline, and inevitably she will be. But what I think she'll be most happy with is the connection in defence at the minute. Obviously about to be tested now with line-out defence, and then depending on what the Navy do from here. But I think she'll be more happy with the defensive efforts from the Army currently.
I think that's much better urgency there from the Navy. The little quick tap, linking up really tightly.
Okay, time's off.
You know, I talked about that inexperience, the kick over the top, knocking it on forward and then giving away a penalty because your player in front's played it. Well, we've just seen it from
no water,
the Army as well, where they've got plenty of experience in that side as well.
We're good.
You know, playing in this stadium under this kind of pressure, it does do some things to you that you're not used to.
You'll have felt that, of course, over the years, Rachel.
Never.
Backwards.
I was testing you there. That was good. I like it. What have the Navy got here? An attacking opportunity they had in the 22, trying to make their way back over that whitewash. Just a delayed pass, and Jazz Abel can't
Scrum
connect.
advantage.
Advantage to the Army.
Okay, release. Use it!
Well, that ball's gone nowhere, really. Pursglove is left to try and take it forward. Kicking that ball into a little bit of space. And bouncing kindly for Fern Maya White. Good power there as well from White. It's another messy delivery, but Rosie Staples this time is at the end of it. Griffiths, well taken by Swain off her bootlaces. And Dixon now out to Flo Mullet. Crunched backwards by Heidi Silcox. Little grubber coming through. Pursglove seeming to have a lot of time in the ball.
That was the advantage.
Bit of a challenge then, quite high, and penalty advantage being played.
Okay. Yes.
Penalty being called.
I was going to say, like, I think errors are obviously made in 80 minutes. It's a long time for any side to say perfect, but for me it's what you do off the back of that. So we saw kind of a comedy of errors from the Army after that line out, and there can be a whole host of reasons why that happens, but actually it's collectively how you come back from that and how you regroup to then kind of put yourself back in a more positive place and get front foot again. And we can see now, the Army have been in their 22 for what, 5-6 minutes maybe, and come away with a penalty. So that's a real positive outcome in terms of coming back together and regrouping.
More frustration for the Royal Navy. It's not clinical enough on that occasion.
And you've got to play the conditions. We keep talking about there is a swirling wind out there. It has been drizzling, it has been wet. You can see that the passes are dying slightly. They're on the shoulder. Just tighten things up a little bit, get some go forward. But the longer that the ball's in the air for, it's going to give this Army team all the time in the world to get up and put pressure on your attack.
Benevent Brooks linking up, and Flo Mullet trying to take it through here. Scrum advantage being called to the Navy as well.
Okay, the first one was Army.
Craig Johnson will come back for
that.
Navy,
no advantage. Inside the half, yeah.
Jazz Abel and shot there. Had a very good international defence rugby competition last summer. And often an outside back. She's been in 13 shirt for the last couple of games, certainly in this campaign. Inter services. Very versatile. Very languid runner as well.
I think it's a really interesting tactical move to put Jazz there. She is one of the more experienced players in that back line, along with Rose Dixon. So the link up there, I'm expecting to see that come to fruition at some point in this half, if not in the second half. And hopefully we see something from them, because they've both got really credible skill sets between them.
Height, okay, on both sides. Let's bring it up a touch, okay?
Referee calling for a bit more height in the packs. They've been busy recently. These two forward packs.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Coming through and trying to pop it over to Flo Mullet. And Jade Mullen once again showing that she's just a brick wall in defence.
Yeah, she certainly leads by example as the captain of this team, going into her 5th season. Gets off the line and reads it so brilliantly as well. And then, you know, technically you've got to be very good when you're coming off the line at speed like that.
Amy Pusick bundled backwards.
Use it!
Royal Navy struggling to get over the gain line. Griffiths puts the ball up.
Okay.
It's been Griffiths to Pursglove quite a bit in the last 10 minutes. Pursglove this time looking to use the running option. A nice handoff as well. And an offload out to Komitai, and Jay Ash again. Jay Ash, can she get another? Spinning off tackles, being helped through by Meg Griffiths. And into touch she goes. But another moment of danger for the Royal Navy. And Jay Ash with ball in hand.
Just another example, you know, kicking in the backfield. Pursglow has got so much pace about her. Ball in two hands, options either side. But look at this leg drive, not giving up the fight. I know she goes into touch. You know, you ultimately want her to be stepping off her right foot to get back in field. But she's been having a great game so far in open space, but also in those close contact areas. Shows she's got a lot of power for a winger.
Amy Pusick ready to sort the line out. Staples the jumping option. Almost in the hands of Sinclair, but spilled out.
No clear knock on in there for me.
Back it comes, Griffiths.
A little bit of breathing space there, I guess, from the Navy. Maybe not quite as far as she would have liked on that clearance kick, but actually what I think the Navy are probably struggling with at the minute is they don't have the set piece necessarily to rely on either. There's a little bit of uncertainty there in the line-out calls, which obviously you want your set piece to be your bread and butter, so that you know that you can rely on it and set the platform. So I imagine that will be talked about at half-time.
I'm happy. 7 on ball.
That's a crucial skill and turnover there from Sinclair. You talked about her earlier, try-saving tackle, but we know how good this Army team are as soon as they get a bit of rhythm and momentum going forward. So great turnover, really quick to respond, allows her teammates to get down. Look at that, straight on ball, not worrying about what's coming in front of her. Targets the ball and only the ball.
Honeybell and Pusick in consultation. Which option will he use this time? Brightwell looking to go backwards and taking it midline out. Parnaby getting it through.
Much better execution from the Navy there. It's always good, like it becomes very predictable. They've gone front ball a few times now, which hasn't worked for them. So good to see the leaders in that pack making those right decisions.
Oh, Jay Ash, wonderful footwork again. What a star she's turning into for the British Army. Brooks into Kafoa.
No, it's a ruck. Let's play it.
Mullen popping it round the corner to Benevent. Manikalu Komatai in support again on her shoulder.
Quicker 6.
Yeah, that's a pretty powerful pairing.
Mullen again, seeing a little bit of space, doing well to get that to Pursglove. He takes it cleanly. And Scholes on the outside, trying to hand her way off towards the try line.
Okay. It's a tackling arm for me, okay. It's going to be a scrum.
So you punch for a tackle? No.
Flo Mullet frustrated there. Navy defence desperately trying to stop the 6th Army try.
Just Jay Mullen, you know, orchestrating things at 10, just the little soft hands, doesn't take too much of the space away, holds her feet, little tip on, and then she actually gets hit. She's down for a minute, gets back to her feet, she becomes that second option, that wave runner out the back to give him the extra number. She's such a key cog to this team, isn't she?
She really is, and she's one of those players that we get the beauty of playing and coming together as a UK Armed Forces side as well. So you know the calibre of people that you are coming up against, and that in itself can make the Navy overcommit and then just force the gaps in other areas. So yeah, a huge cog in this Army side.
Lauren Brooks through the middle, and Lauren Brooks seeing the post in her sights and diving over the line for the 6th Army try today. What a way to end the first half for the British Army. That's very special from last year's player of the match.
Such confidence, good transfer of the ball there, and took on the Navy players that were in front of her. Yeah, great individual try from Brooksy there.
I think what's so great about that is, you know, here's the first little play off the set piece. You've got 3 of the backs all wrapped up in there. And then Brooksy comes around the corner at pace, takes on the line, big fend out again, transfers the ball over so she can get away from another defender. You know, having trained against this girl and played alongside her, you don't want to give her any time to build up any part of speed that she does have. She is a powerful force.
something she's been familiar with today. Courtney Pursglove. 36 points to 0. The Army lead the Navy at half-time here at Allianz Stadium, Twickenham. Brilliant performance in the first half from the red shirts. Undoubtedly, Sarah Mitchelson will be looking for ways they can keep their standards in the second half and pick things up. And what a fantastic second half we have in store. Don't go anywhere because there's something very special coming up. As the players run off back very, very shortly indeed.
He was a bricklayer for 5 years, he should be good. Mate.
It's all right. That good, is it? That top.
Oh, that's not great, that, is it?
Not bad.
No.
83. Oh, that's pretty good. 69. Ah, got a crump.
Go at least.
Oh, it's gonna be terrible, isn't it? 96.7.
Whatever that is.
Ooh, I think you might be in the lead.
Yes.
Very good. I think that might be one of the top.
I am a pretty strong bloke. And 129.6. Winger.
Very good.
UCAF's top try scorer of all time.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful break for the RAF. That's a brilliant try.
Goes straight down the line, and nobody is going to stop him.
Speed, power, footwork. It's just fantastic.
Fantastic stuff from the British Army.
The stadium stands to applaud a terrific inter-services rugby matchup.
The day. Right, if things stay as they are today, it's going to be a big head-to-head, the RAF versus the Army, to take that inter-services title today. What's that to look forward to? The fixture so far, it's been a bit of a battle of sides, battle with the elements. The Army, unsurprisingly, getting the better of it so far.
Yeah, we touched upon the weather at the start, and you can see the Army's physicality are winning both the attack and defence battle. They're just breaking tackles and they're fronting up and getting that gain line.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to be some of the talk of half-time, isn't it? Is that, for the Navy, you just really got to find that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel for the Navy because wherever the ball lands, we've got a quality Army set up, and you can see that on the pitch. They're picking it up from their bootstraps and running over the top of people. So it's quite an impressive performance so far.
Yeah, it is. 38-0 at the half-time so far. A couple of braces, actually. Take a quick look at them. Komatai making her first here. I mean, side steps, power, and then a fantastic finish there, right?
Yeah, like comms Fijian International links up real nicely with Lauren Brooks, and Brooksy holds and fixes that Navy defender, gets the offload away, and it's a walk-in for comms.
Yeah, spectacular finish there, and it is very tricky when when you're the Navy and they know that they've got that sort of level of class. We've seen a brace as well from Ash, and it's just trying to stop and isolate these players, but then there's another player.
I was going to say, and yes, the Army are taking the contact, moving the ball on. So even if the Navy make a brilliant first up, second up tackle, the ball's gone and it's moved on to another player who's then in space and running through. So, yeah.
Yeah, a tricky one. I mean, at this stage, what do you think is being said in the dressing rooms?
I think from a Navy point of view, it's breaking it up into 5-10 minute segments. At the start of that first half, Navy were in the Army's 22, but they need to convert that into points. That, like, they went for a touch, took the line out, question, could you have maybe gone for points there, get 3 points on the board? It's figuring out those small wins and just breaking it down into wee segments.
Yeah. Well, they are rivals in the inter-services, of course, but they ultimately unite under the UK Armed Forces and UK AF Rugby. And there's been a fascinating documentary made about it called Crown and Contact that showcases this incredible team.
From that minute that whistle goes, we show them who we are. The UK Armed Forces, 3 services together.
Every carry that we make, we go forward. Every tackle that we make, we send them backwards.
So that a behind-the-scenes documentary which is following the UK Armed Forces women throughout last year's inter-defence rugby competition. It's available on the UKAF YouTube channel now, and season 2, which follows the men, is coming very soon. And it's just, I mean, at the end of the day, all of this is ultimately, this is about bringing individuals together, whether it be within your service, whether it be across the service, and whether it be for the benefit of sport or for the benefit of the armed forces and the jobs that they do in the real world, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's what services sports brings back to the workplace, and that camaraderie, the leadership, the teamwork, and especially with a game like rugby where literally players are putting their bodies on the line. And if we don't bond together as a team, someone will get seriously hurt, and ultimately putting that through to operations. It's the teamwork and the camaraderie that this helps to build whilst we're not in conflict.
Yeah. And Sarah, what's it like the other way as well? You know, having, you know, being a test player, being at the highest level, representing your country, but also having this. You know, what benefits does that bring to your sort of rugby career?
Oh, like going through like your leadership training, for example, at Cranwell, being able to kind of deliver output under pressure. Hugely transferable. Like when you're calling a line out against England and you've got the world's best lock opposite you, it's figuring out where's the space under pressure, and the skills that I've learned from the Royal Air Force have definitely transferred.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you see, the UK Armed Forces brings together the services, and another organisation that does incredible work and unites, of course, is BFBS, and they have the most devoted people within it. And one man has done more than most, and his career ends in July. And that career was 40 years with BFBS. We are delighted to be working alongside him today, and we couldn't actually pull him down pitch side, so we might as well get up there and find him a message. So we're sharing this from around the world, so we'll go to him now. It's Mr. John Knighton, and he's alongside Cy Hunter.
Thank you, JJ. I couldn't have put it better myself. We make a lot of stats up here, John, on the commentary gantry, number of caps, number of tries, so extremely fitting, of course, that here we are to talk about a wonderful career of yours, 40 years at BFBS, and 1995, the first time you lined out at Inter-Services on the microphone. How special has this occasion been in your career?
Oh, I'll tell you what, 40 years, it just seems like yesterday. It's gone so quickly. But yeah, you're quite right, Simon. The Army-Navy game and the inter-services is just like the pinnacle, isn't it? And just today has summed it all up, really. Fantastic games of rugby, particularly the men's game, obviously, was just pulsating. We've seen so many pulsating games here over the years. It is the very, very best of our military in action at the home of rugby. I mean, you cannot get better than that, can you? And for so many years, I've been privileged to sit and watch, commentate, report, standing down on the pitch side. It's just been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, you can't get any better than this right now, as you say. Just give us a sense of how much things have changed over the years, how much growth not only there's been in the competition, but also with the coverage that you've been a central part of.
Well, I mean, we've been so fortunate, obviously, to benefit from the technology changes that we've had over the last 5-6 years to allow us to go along to military events and cover them live, which we were never able to do before without spending literally thousands and thousands of pounds on satellite technology. Now we can use the internet, we can use all sorts of bits of kit and technology which brings it into people's homes. And the thing that I'm so proud of, really, is the fact that we can now bring the whole of the Forces family together through sport. So if you're a mum or dad or a brother or sister, uncle and aunt or whatever, and you are away and you can't get to a game, you can see your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew play, and you can feel part of it as well, and that for me is just fantastic.
Well, it'll be special over the next few months to chat to you a lot more about your memories. It's a wonderful privilege, as I say. Thank you very much, John, for everything you've done over the years, and I'll pass back to JJ as the players come back out onto the pitch here at Allianz Stadium.
Yes, what an incredible career he has had. Thank you so much for your service. It's 38-0 here at Twickenham to the Army in this women's fixture. Can the Navy find a way to battle back? Can they find a way across the try line and find that fight? It doesn't look like the Army's going to let up. Second half coming very shortly.
Philippa Griffiths with ball in hand as the Navy face a 38-0 deficit so far. Looking into the second half of this historic fixture, British Army will be hoping to pick up where they left off at the end of the first. Navy with a lot of work to do, a lot of questions to answer. But Heidi Silcox making an uncharacteristic mistake, and the ball knocking forward.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear the conversations that went on from both changing rooms at half-time. No doubt quite different messaging, I think, about how to come out and approach the second half. I've certainly been on the receiving end of a couple of half-time talks that have been both good and bad, but yeah, they're definitely a good opportunity to reset and really valuable, particularly in a game like this.
Out it comes to Jazz Abel. And an interception being made as well. Jay Ash, she just can't keep out of the action today. The Army nullifying any semblance of pressure from the Royal Navy once more. The ball's recycled. Back it comes to Mullen. Through the hands, Sarah Batley. Who could forget that swan dive when she scored her try last year?
Refers to herself as one of the OGs these days, and that she is. She's an absolute legend of this squad and one of our most senior players.
Well, Komatai coming through the middle again. And she could make her hat-trick here, Komatai, if she's got the pace to get to the line. She has indeed. Not a hope for the Royal Navy defenders at that range. And my word, a very special day forming for Manakalu Komatai.
She has absolutely grown in this game, and I told someone earlier, 5 years ago, it was my second to last season, and she asked me what lifting blocks were. So to go from that to be scoring on both an international stage and on a prestigious stage like this, her growth and development of the game has been outstanding.
Yeah, it was just such a brilliant line for her. Again, the soft hands from Jade Mullen, playing really flat on the line. Like the timing of the pass from Jade makes it so difficult for the Navy. But then what comes after that? The speed and the finish, changing left foot, right foot, getting the fend out. She's a wonderful talent, isn't she? As you mentioned, internationally last weekend was obviously with Fijiana playing against Samoa. She's had a stellar of a year last year, making it to the Rugby World Cup. Also the UCAF Sportswoman of the Year. And it's as if she has never been away. A hat-trick in this game.
Look at the smile on her face as well. That makes it extra special, doesn't it? The spirit in which this game's played and how much these Army players are just enjoying themselves. Ball bouncing forward off Griffith's hands. Just a little slippery perhaps with all the rain that's falling. It's been fairly steady through this match.
Yeah, good option again for Navy to go to the same area that forced an error against Army. Just sitting a little bit deep, thinking that Navy might kick long. Again, just for Navy on this play, Rose Dixon. I haven't seen the ball in her hands too much last year. She was really trying to get into the game, pull players into the game, and she's been often used as a dummy runner. Love to see her hands on the ball, see what she can do.
Scrum wheeling round, and the Navy earning themselves a penalty. Quickly taken by Josie Parnaby. Spotting the corner flag, but Scholes tracking her down. And scrum advantage called to the Army.
One of the conversations that will have happened in the Navy changing room at half-time is body position in the scrum, and we saw from that scrum there that they were a lot lower, a lot more powerful through that engage.
Taken well by Dodd.
Advantage over!
We're trying to bisect three players. Fernmaya White only going as far as Ash, and well, she manages to allow it to go backwards. But she's certainly going forwards here. Look at that pace as well on the wing from Jay Ash. This is beautiful to watch, and look at the Army support as well. This is absolutely brilliant. A blistering try in the making. She does get there, and Jay Ash, hat-trick, first time playing at Twickenham for the British Army. That is special.
Very special, and what I'd like to see now is her getting a bit more involved on in creating the play. We've seen that she's got the skills there that you'd want from a winger, ball in the right hand, able to fend and pass defenders, and also the gas to finish. But now I think if we're looking ahead towards the next fixture, actually what can she do in helping create other opportunities in that back line?
This has been a great find, hasn't she, for the Army? Got absolute pace, but it's the confidence that she's got to take on those players one-on-one. It was great support play from Mullin and Persgrove on the inside, but not needed in the end. Big power runner, ball back in two hands, which just makes the Navy defender just hesitate ever so slightly. And she goes, you know what, I can do this myself, I can go all the way.
Another conversion, and the Army breached the 50-point mark. 52 points to 0 they lead. And what do you make, Rachel, of that balance as well when you see that replay? And that we know the speed she has, but when you see just how balanced a runner she is, that's great.
Yeah, it really is. And I think what's so excellent about this Army team, when we saw it last year, is that ability to transition really quickly. You know, that was a loose kick yet again into the back three. All three of the back three have exceptional pace, and they come alive when they've got open, you know, not organised defence phase to play against. As we're seeing, they're getting such rewards from that.
All just teasing the Royal Navy there. Parnaby not really sure where she can go. Jade Mullen right up in her face. And being slammed back. The ball going back over the 22. And Sam West very quick up onto it. Ellie Brightwell trying to secure it. Laker Swain this time.
Get released, thank you. Use it!
Back it comes.
Hold in
Mullen
front.
trying to charge it down. Ash watches it into touch.
Laker Swain's a really interesting one for me. She was their back row superstar in some respects last season and has made the transition to front row for whatever reason. So we're seeing her physicality in that front row still. It would be great to see her now come into her game in a more expansive play and the ball carry that we know and the ground that we know she can make.
Front person's got the
so
mark.
yeah, just to see her a bit more in open play with that ball would be great.
Charlie Morgan with the knock on this time. Frustrated with herself.
A couple of back-to-back positives there from Navy. Really clean distance on that exit and then putting pressure on the line out.
we can see that India King has come into hook here, and just want to take this opportunity to thank the Defence School of Policing for letting her out for this fixture. We know that can always be, commitment-wise and operationally, it can be quite a challenge for a lot of these players and the management around the players. But yeah, so I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank them.
Look at the power of that Army scrum and earning the penalty too.
Around and then down. Okay, we're not going to play fast. Got players on the floor.
That's one way to introduce yourself to the
Okay,
game,
tight
isn't it?
head, step out
Dominate
and
the
then
first scrum that you go into.
Lou Dodd, the preferred kicking option here. Making good ground as well. Experienced campaigner Dodd. Fantastic inside centre, especially outside. Captain fantastic Jade Mullen. India King, another opportunity here in the line out.
First person, pull down, no issue.
Back to Dodd. And Ash trying to get it out to Pursglove. Scholes waiting eagerly outside her. Now taking it and darting back inside. Trying to power her way over. Close again they come with Benevent. Power there of Benevent.
Short. Ball's there.
Just inches short. Will they pick and go? Trying to drive.
Still short, leave it come, 2, short.
Wait again and trying to get round the corner. Get there in the end. And yet another score. They keep coming just like the rain today.
We can see a happy coach there in Cyril Mitchison, but actually what I think would be what I think will be noticed is the execution of that line out. A little bit of forward bias, but was a great line out and set the platform for the backs to get through in the end.
Red 5, change.
Courtney Pursglove has been good friends with the kicking tee today. Goes to put it down on the pitch.
I mean, Erica, this dominance from the Army hasn't happened overnight. Obviously, since this fixture started to come on the calendar for women, they've been leading the way, they've been dominating. How has that come about?
It's 30 years in the making, really, Rachel, and we mentioned before, and I know would have been mentioned last night, about the players that have gone before, and it's a lot of testament to the hard work and commitment from those players and people putting themselves in the right conversations and striving for the same end goal, which is effectively what we're seeing here today. So a lot more around it than that, but I guess that's the overarching premise behind the history and the depth and that the Army are able to demonstrate.
Well, you speak of a happy Sarah Mitchelson. She's downstairs with Kath Brazier.
Outside.
Well, yes, happy Sarah Mitchelson. To be honest, I'm never sure she's 100% happy, even when they're leading 59-0. But Huddy, not a bad position to be in.
No, not a bad position. Like the last 20 minutes of the first half, we started to lose our basics a little bit, trying to push it maybe a bit too much. And I think that was the message at half time, was that we've got to go back to doing our basics well before we can start playing more rugby.
Because you're always looking to improve, aren't you? And we saw it. We saw a really nice piece with you guys, Canada under-21s, where it was winning in defeat, wasn't it? And but in these kind of games, it's a different mindset. But you're such a perfectionist about every little margins of the game that you're keen to see them excel in every area.
Yeah, and we put those goals out as well. Like we have specific goals that we really want to hit, and that's our target. And no matter what the scoreline, if we have or haven't hit those goals, then maybe we have or haven't had success. And today probably we're still in on about 70% of those goals. So we've got another, hopefully, in the second half we can put them to bed.
Just a little word for Jay Ash. She's very, very new to the side, doing incredibly well.
Yeah, her first season. Like when we brought her in, I think she played the first game of the season, which was the Brit Police, and she's been brilliant since all season. And really, really nice to see her running out here and seeing what IS rugby really is about.
Thank you, Huddy.
Well, the Army on the precipice of another try. Will Courtney Pursglove get there in the corner this time? It just looks like she's made touch. Flag is up. Always something that happens when Kath Brazier chats to the coaches.
Okay.
Not another try this time, though.
Foot in touch, guys. Yes, okay. Yeah, time's off.
But of course, the player doesn't agree. That's good cover defence. I think it was Flo Mullet again. She's been busy, hasn't she? When she's gone on the ball, she looks lively. She's gone hunting for work. Defensively, she's been very good as well. A couple of last-ditch tackles here. Let's have another closer look to it.
Yeah, you're going to be all right there.
Ooh, that is tight. Obviously, touch judges to the other side of those cameras, so got a clear and obvious look in.
Yeah, sorry.
It looks good, as you say.
I think we're good. Okay. Thumbs on. On the other mark.
Nevertheless, not to be for first love this time. Just floats into the middle of that line out. The Army Mole looks to force its way.
Same ball. Don't change, Six.
Back
Don't
to
change.
where it feels it
Stay where
belongs,
you
the
are,
try
fine.
line. Keeps coming. Relentless, that Army Mole. Firing themselves over. Referee taking a close look.
Okay. It's short.
Held up.
It's unplayable. Okay. Taken in by red. It's going to be a blue scrum.
Blue scrum.
Taken in by blue. Taken in by red, sorry.
Yeah,
Blue
Courtney will definitely feel slightly hard done by that decision, as I'm sure the person will that was just held up. I didn't quite see who that was there, but I think we can't gloss over the execution of the line out there. I've mentioned it a couple of times, and line-outs excite me. I'm one of those strange people, and especially when the execution goes well. But when it doesn't, it's one of those things that, as the 8 in that line-out, you've really got to have a conversation about what can be fixed, and go back to your almost banker line-out to give the rest of your squad a platform.
Crouch!
Looks like it was Sinclair again, just got underneath that ball. But these are the little bits that Navy will look back on and reflect on, take that as a positive. It's 2 mauls now that they've been able to stop and get the ball back.
Dixon with work to do. Becky Wilson on the park now. Second best Nordic skier in the British Army. We've seen some interesting social media from her over the last few months.
Yeah, and that's one of the benefits of the military, particularly in the Army. There's a big emphasis on the ski season, and that is Becky's probably her first hobby, I'd say, over rugby, and luckily she has the understanding of her chain of command to be able to do both. So a huge win for her this season, and yeah, she had a great season out there.
India King. Assessing her jumpers. Maul forms again. Now will they get there this time, the Army? Coming with slightly more pace this time. The Navy pouring every woman they can into this defence. Through it comes, and finding a bit of space. And Dodd now to Scholes. Scholes eases her way over the line. Checking the grunning's good. Another try, and celebrations all round.
Yeah, but the positive for me in that was the maul defence from the Navy. It is extremely difficult to successfully defend a maul, and the Army did have front foot there, but they didn't score from it, and the Navy's commitment and body positions and the adjustment of that and the reloading into the back of the maul actually prevented the Army from scoring a phase earlier. So for now, for me, as a Navy coach and even a player on the pitch, I'd be taking those positives wins to energise the remainder of the game.
Just again, selfless play there from Jade Mullen, Lou Dodd. That combination's worked so well and so nicely this afternoon. Just the simple hands, does enough just to hold up the defence, and then like you want your wingers going looking for work, getting on the shoulders of one another. And here, Jade Mullen right at the line. Lou Dodd doesn't take it too close to the line, doesn't want to be able to give, wants to be able to give her winger as much time and space to be able to break through that gap. And Scholes scored on the 80th minute last year. She's obviously come in late. There's been a late change to this, but she's slotted in really well.
Well, no one needed a reminder of the power and performance of this British Army side. I'll tell you what, they're delivering once more. Commentators curse as the ball's knocked on. But nevertheless, 66-0 they lead here. 56 minutes gone at Allianz Stadium.
Yeah, okay.
66-0, but I'm really hopeful that something comes in this position. We've seen in the last couple of scrums that the Navy's body position has changed as a result of, I imagine, half-time talk. So this might actually unlock a platform for the Navy to be able to do something in their back line. And given that they're nearly in the 22, this is a really exciting part of the pitch to be in.
Freya Moore coming on for the Royal Navy in place of Amy Puttock. Change being made in the front row at hooker. Parnaby with ball in hand.
Crouch!
Not been easy for her today, Parnaby. Not always getting front foot ball.
Set!
Good player. Scrum collapsing, but well, quickly taken. Tap penalty by Parnaby. Elle Biffle trying to drive her way through. Ball coming back. Lucy Honeybell. Biffle again. It's an important runner with ball in hand for the Navy against the Royal Air Force at Northampton.
Jackal was fine.
Continue to recycle it.
Scrum knock on, advantage.
Scrum advantage being called.
Okay, no advantage for the knock on. The Jackal was legal, but she just knocked it on.
We've seen a few tap and goes from Parnaby today to try and get that front foot ball and give a different picture to the Army, which I'm absolutely in favour of. I think one of the World Cup games last summer was South Africa, New Zealand, and they threw everything that nobody was expecting at an opposition that they were trying to obviously win against. And I feel like in some respects this is, you want to see different pictures, you want to see creativity, you don't want to see the predictable rugby, especially if it isn't quite working. So it's good to see that she's energised the game in that respect.
And I think it's everybody else around has got to get with her. You know, we've seen that happen twice now, and then an error's come, or it's not been quite executed because the support isn't quite there. It's them rushed. There's lots of great learnings, but everybody's got to be on the same wave.
Popping around the corner. Fern Maya White out to Flo Mullett on the right wing. Parnaby to Griffiths. Laker Swain.
Thank you, one. Good.
Change of direction now. Out to Rose Dixon. Mullett again.
I'm happy.
Covered well by the Army. Swain just a half break there. Staples shunted back.
Keith, release 10.
Probably just trying to close that Navy attack down and keep it quite narrow. I'm trying to find a bit of space. We'll go back inside now around Sinclair. The Jackal is on for the Army, but maybe keep hold of the ball. Little grubber through. There's a bit of space in the corner. First glove herring back to touch that down, which he does.
Okay, score line. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, what we want to see from the Navy now, for me, is just a little bit of a different shape when they do have the ball. At the minute, the attacking line's a little bit dog-legged. There's not,
numbers coming off.
There doesn't really look like there's an appetite there to, and it's quite predictable, I guess, for the Army defence. So don't get me wrong, it's hugely saturating being in defence for this amount of time. But if they can just take an inch or two to get that shape, I think they'll be in a better position.
I think it's also coming onto the ball, it's as a defender when you're in the line, you look up and you've got a static target to be able to go and get, and that's why we're seeing some of these dominant tackles from the Army, because they're going into a static position, whereas you give yourself a little bit more depth, like we just saw there from Swan, got in behind the defence, you've got to be able to then play off the back of that.
Some changes for the Royal Navy. Rachel Marley and Jess Shaw on from Lucy Honeybell and Rosie Staples, and quite a few, 5 changes for the British Army. Amy Reynolds coming on, Fern Scobie, Lauren Evans, Louis Kunadua.
Okay, we'll just double check changes complete before I start, okay?
The Mesa Moa as well.
Yeah, I've got 15, good.
Sarah Batley Charlie Morgan coming off the field. Ball going back. Flo Mullet, another opportunity here. Show her footwork. It looked like a high challenge.
Use it! Scrum advantage.
Swain the recipient, but ball knocked forward.
Advantage over!
And now Becky Wilson being able to show a bit of gas here from Becky Wilson. Trying to get that out to Ferdy Scobie, both just on the pitch. Amy Reynolds too. Replacements making a real impact so far, just seconds on the field. Meg Fisher taking that forward. Scobie replacement, scrum half, and Jade Mullen trying to put that in a bit of space. Not quite getting the area she wanted. That slides off the foot, and that's straight in the hands of Amy Reynolds.
14 was actually okay.
Mullen back inside.
I think this is the stage in the game now where the Army may look to try a few things. They've set the foundations of the game. They've probably had some really critical, hypercritical conversations at half-time, and now they feel that actually they can try something different, try something that is maybe slightly off script, and we maybe just saw that there in Jade Mullen's kick.
Go back for the initial knock-on.
Well, handling appears as if it's becoming a little bit more of an issue for these players. But as we pause in this match, we'll head back down to John Lyson for some social media comments.
Yeah, lots of messages coming in from the Navy urging them to try and score a try. Little message as well from Charles Stonebridge. Big shout out, please, to London area Sea Cadets and Royal Marines cadets who've been involved, obviously, in the build-up today. So great work from them. Message as well coming in from Canada. Go Army, says Al Moose. Sylvie says Navy. Jade Hutton, hands in the air for the, I'm not sure it's the Army or Navy. And also a little message here as well. Barry Pompey says, come on the Army. Stuart Morgan Scott is watching, and Gareth Thomas is watching as well.
Worldwide support for both these sides, as we've become accustomed to over the years. Wonderful to see just an extra special element of these inter-service championships as the ball comes back. And Scobie trying to charge it down, but goes into touch.
And that reach back from one of the Canadian players there, I think that's real testament to the opposition that we, as the Army, have the privilege of coming up against in the lead up to this competition. So despite the scoreline of that fixture, actually puts the Army in a very good position, and they've had some really competitive fixtures in the lead up to this, which I think is also being shown today in their execution.
Thanks, Nick.
Referee looking to reset
Okay, there's no gap. There's no gap.
It's one of the ways in which, Rachel, those standards can be lifted when you come up against sides like that Canadian side we're talking about. And for the Army, a wonderful opportunity, as we hear that it could potentially be playing again next year.
Yeah, certainly. You know, the Army have had an array of fixtures, whether that's with championship clubs, England under-20s we've heard before as well, but you know, that just tests you, it challenges you, it gives you a different environment to operate in, and it takes you up a level, the speed, the pace. We know that Canada, obviously second in the world in the seniors, but their college program, their university program, they are a great team, and Komatai has got more to say in this game.
So close there to that link up with Lou Dodd, ball knocking forward off her hands.
Yes.
The first time that she's passed it.
If I see something, I'll do it, okay?
Every other one she's been able to finish herself. Yes. She's been super busy.
Well, 3 tries already, 10 for the team. Maybe she thought it was time for someone else.
We'll sort it out, we're good, yeah.
Sharing the love
I think we've got
and
changes,
the load. But yeah, that ability for them to be able to obviously play, that intensity, play at that level as more often as they can. You know, Erica spoke about, you know, the opportunities that some of these players have to play at championship club, to play in a PWR side as well, which obviously gives you that extra exposure, extra game time, extra opportunities, which can all feed into the Inter-Services Championship, and obviously a big day like today.
Wonderful as we're seeing more changes being wrought by the Army. May Samoa coming on. Rose Dixon going off. And Cheryl Goodwin. Dixon staying on, I beg your pardon. But Cheryl Goodwin coming on.
Yeah, the calibre of opposition that the Army have exposure and the privilege of playing, like roots back in the history I was saying about earlier, Rachel, and it goes to is a testament to the people that were in those positions, the director of rugby at the time, the head coach, striving for those ambitious opportunities, which have held over the years and now become legacy fixtures despite the scoreline. You know, obviously the international professionalism has had a step change over the last few years as well, so the scoreline now, there's a bit more disparity.
The Navy desperately trying to stop that. That ball bobbling over the try line.
Taken in goal by Red,
potentially for another score.
Goal line dropout.
That's what I think is, you know, important to highlight, that context of the history that's been made by the Army, the legacy that a number of international players have served in the Army, served in the red shirt. You know, Navy they've talked about this new plan, new opportunities, but you know, ultimately their program needs to get stronger. They've got to have greater support within the working environment to release them for more opportunities to play, whether that's civvy rugby or also in the blue Navy jersey as well.
It's time to head down to Kath Brazier, who's pitch side with the Army's Sarah Batley.
I think we're going to be quick.
Yeah, I'm going to name her Swallow Dive, Sarah Batley, because we all remember last year. Are you having fun out there despite the rain?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the rain's just thrown something else in there, hasn't it? And made it more of a challenge. But yeah, we're having lots of fun out there, and we're just kind of having fun, but making sure we keep that performance, which the girls have just taken care of yet again. Running.
Combs is having a great game, another great game for a debutant season, Jay Ash as well. I mean, one of two names. There are many having a great game out there, but loving it, really.
Oh yeah, they are. You know what, we asked the team to work hard, all the girls, and everyone's showing up today. You know, there's a lot of new faces out there that are absolutely the future of Army rugby, so it's nice that they've really taken to it, and they'll keep on doing it.
Well, Sarah, you've got one more game, obviously, to go in Gloucester. Maybe it'll be the tougher of the two, I imagine so. But at the moment, you know, you're just going to enjoy this moment and move on to Kingsholm in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, too right. We've had both fixtures in our eye line, but we'll enjoy this one today. We'll reset, we'll recover, and then we'll go again in a couple of weeks' time.
Brilliant. Sarah Batley, back to Sky.
Has the curse of Kath been lifted? A try this time for the team she was interviewing, but that's just gone wide of the posts. Not making it anyway from Pursglove. So 71-0 the score now. British Army really showing another try-scoring masterclass today.
Change is good, yeah.
68 minutes gone at Allianz Stadium, Twickenham.
Sweet.
Can the Navy break their duck today? What have they got in the next 12 minutes or so? Let's see, Joanna Banks come on for the Royal Navy. And Flo Mallet coming off the field. Another low drilled kick towards Heidi Silcox, who just says, thank you very much, I'll have some of that. And I'll have some of that through the field as well. The Army just scything their way through the Navy defence at this stage. Figure of Louis Kunadua. Sarah Mitchelson saying very excited to see her in action today.
I mean, that single step looked powerful. Looks like she's going to be making impact to this side.
Fern Scobie, can she make it? Scoring in the late moments of the last year's fixture and not quite linking up. The ball knocking forward off the hands of Amy Reynolds first, I think it was.
Scrum advantage.
Not quite linking up there, but there's definitely some new players in the Army squad this year that are there to be excited by. They've definitely got promise, and we'll obviously look to build on that into the rest of the inter-services campaign and seasons to come.
Okay, we'll stop.
Ref blows his whistle.
Amy
Reynolds being flown back from deployment for this match, and Fern Scobie flying out on deployment tomorrow.
And you touch on deployment, Si, and I think that actually is probably the kind of sprinkling of magic and, I guess, unique difference between, from my experience, from playing for a Premiership side or playing for a military side. You know the demands of operations, whether or not the output and your role in theatre is different. You know what it takes to be away from family and friends and the norm. So you have that appreciation and understanding that's unwritten
and can't really just be described either. It's kind of felt, and I think that's what makes it really special playing for any military side.
Red in possession. Stop at the other side, Don.
So a red ball here. Scrum. Great to see the spirit as well of those who come out and support Allianz Stadium, waving their flags. Crouch! Music plays. It's been a great atmosphere all day, as it always is here.
Set.
Scooby waits patiently. Well, out to Dodd. Looking for the switch. Jay Ash in midfield. It's nice from Becky Wilson. Driving those legs very powerfully and seeing the corner. Becky Wilson getting it through, and this time it's a score for Lou Dodd. Look at the dive. That is brilliant.
Yeah, we see Becky Wilson's experience coming there, making the pass at the right time, and then just carrying on that running line as she is entitled to do, to then open the space for a bit of a run-in for Dodsey there, who doesn't normally need any help in finding the try line.
It was a lovely link-up. You could kind of feel it about to happen. Little show and go, leg drive through, gets a little bit of a nudge from Lou Dodd, so to thank her for it, gives her the little tip, draws the last defender, and she can get as close to the post as she likes with a swan dive. Batley won't be happy with that, because now everybody will talk about the Lou Dodd swan dive.
Just before the kick, I want to come back to one of the points that you made, Rachel, about the Navy, and for me at the minute, when you see the result of the men's game and the performance that the men put on there, you kind of want them to take the women under their wing in that whole club attitude and philosophy, and kind of bring them on that journey.
Well, converting the try is Dodd. 78 points to 0. What a formidable scoreline it is now. Not far off what we saw last year, 96 points to 0. What have the Navy got in this last 8 minutes of the game? Tie again. Silcox spilling that forward.
Yeah, nice little link-up play there, but coming back to what the Navy have, Si, and year in, year out, they turn up with heart and they turn up with pride and passion, and they, whatever 23 takes to the field on this occasion, they give it everything right until the final minute, so you can't discredit them in that. And I think along the way they also find enjoyment in it, which at the end of the day, we play this sport for enjoyment, not just to represent our forces, but enjoyment is a huge factor.
I think also, like, look at some of the areas that definitely need improvement. You know, that their kicking game certainly needs to be improved, that connection in defence, but these are all very fixable things that they're able to take away and be able to implement moving forward.
Dixon trying to link up with Goodwin. Still they rumble forward, but well, an Army penalty, reversing the momentum of that move.
On feet. 15 holding on.
What a game Jade Mullen has had. Really leading from the front, as always. Captain Fantastic nickname we talk about, Kiwi.
Yeah, she has earned that title in spades. She has been at the heart of the squad for some seasons now, leading from the front, both in attack and defence. So, yeah, the name is justified.
One of the most humble characters you could meet as well.
Okay, inside foot.
Just a word on her talent as well, Rachel Burford. The number of options she has, ball in hand, passing abilities, off the boot as well.
yeah, she's, you know, got an all-round game and played a number of times with her Harlequins and can play everywhere across that back line. But it's the selfless work that she does for me, you know, the time where she just puts other people into the space there, not trying to go for the ball, but latching onto the player there to give them more strength. She really does build this team up and supports her players immensely, but she has all the talent to show as well.
Advantage over! Nothing clear there.
Navy trying to get over that halfway line again.
Yes, ball's out.
Really trying to jackal.
It's off the face, play on.
Ball coming off the face ferociously.
It's open play.
And a bit of broken play there as well. Still got a Navy hands. Scrum advantage back in to the hands of the red shirts. And Fern Scobie. Ball being spilled forward.
First knock on by Navy.
Well, the votes are in.
Yeah, red scrum.
And fair of the match has been decided. An honourable mention for Manikalu Komatai. But Jade Mullen awarded player of the match today. And what a fantastic performance.
Yeah, it was an extremely tough call. Other mentions of note are Jay Ash on her inter-services debut, and also Lou Dodd in the middle there. Like, it can't go unnoticed the hard work from those players, but collectively awarded to Jade Mullen. She has been phenomenal both in defence and attack. We can see her on screen there right till the very dying minutes of the game, keeping that back line honest in attack and defence, leading by the front in physicality, taking the ball to the game line. We haven't seen much of her from the boot today, but actually what she hasn't brought in that, she has brought in spades in every other capacity. So yeah, a resounding player of the match to Jade Mullen.
Dodd trying to break free of the challenge from Rose Dixon. Came off the leg there. And spinning round.
Keep working.
Komatai. Good tackle by Dixon.
Committed.
Numbers here, the Army.
Backwards.
If they can collect cleanly. Ball has just gone backwards, and now it finds its way over the whitewash into touch. Just a couple of minutes to go. 78 points to 0 for the British Army. Wonderful performance again. Really making this pitch their own.
And the Navy will go away from this today and inevitably look at the small margins. And if the score stays as it is, that is a deficit from last year. So you could argue that that's a real positive to take from today, and looking at those, closing the gap, which, I hope someday it is a far closer game. But for now, the small margins, I think, will be really important in their more strategic plan over the next few years.
Sorry.
Freya Moore with
That's good.
the ball
Thank
for
you.
the Navy. Brightwell trying to reach for it, coming back on the Army side. There was a knock on, and there'll be a Navy put into the scrum.
Come to me. Come to me. Yes, your scrum.
Yeah, just last few minutes. Obviously, fatigue has definitely would have set in for both the sides in certain positions, but just small minor errors, which we've talked a lot about what the Navy are going to take away, but there'll be a number of elements that the Army want to take away from here as well. been able to tidy up these moments, finish games out comfortably, confidently. A couple of restarts didn't quite go their way. As a whole, a lot has gone really well for them. But with the watchful eye of Sarah, head coach, she's definitely going to want to improve on all of those little aspects as well.
Look at the power for the British Army there in that scrum. And a penalty being awarded as well.
Tight head backwards and then collapse.
Be interesting what they do here. Do they look to go to the corner? Do they just want to play, get the tap in? Looks like they're going to go to the corner. As Erica has said, their line-outs worked well this afternoon, but Navy have dealt with it on occasion. Who's going to win in the final 10 seconds? The last moment in this game.
Army players prowling and hungry for another try. 12 so far in this game. Last opportunity, you feel.
Scrum advantage.
Going forward, scrum advantage to the Royal Navy. Brown Sinclair trying to hand her way off. The challenge from Comatai. Maybe intent to play this near their own try line, and the ball being taken back by Becky Wilson.
Okay, there's no advantage for the
referee saying no advantage.
Last time.
Time called at Allianz Stadium. Another resounding victory for the British Army by 78 points to 0. Applause, hugs, high fives all round for the red shirts. It's another stinging defeat for the Royal Navy as the Army replacements, those who were on earlier, running onto the pitch to celebrate. Absolutely fantastic once again from Sarah Mitchelson and her team. They'll be jubilant this evening as it sinks in. And Kiwi, what a wonderful performance. Once more from the Army, just showing how they can back their performances up from game to game. And also the pressure potentially of having to continue those performances, they just shrug it off.
Yeah, they cope with the occasion very well today for the most part. There were definitely periods of error, and for the coaching staff now, it'll be, and the players collectively, it'll be about how they don't let those errors compound against the RAF, which we've seen the scoreline for that fixture a couple of weeks ago, and obviously that's the Army's look forward to. So I think now it'll be the really hypercritical elements of having or reducing those errors and that kind of compound error effect. And for the Navy, like I say, it'll be the small margins and the small wins to take away and build on towards the next inter-services campaign. Obviously that is it for them this season.
Well, as you say, building to the next games for the Royal Navy, Rachel Burford, what have you seen from their game today that can inspire them to that next level, to push them forward? It's been a chastening defeat, but what have you seen that can give them that hope?
Yeah, look, I think there's a number of small elements that they can take away from that. A number of times the defensive hold-ups, whether that was in the maul, the last-ditch tackles, that desire to work hard for one another. You can see what they're trying to do in terms of their exit plays, their kicking game, trying to create different ways to attack. It's about sharpening that, being able to, over the next few weeks, why did it not quite go right? What do we need to do in the build-up to the next match to be able to slightly tweak these to get the outcome that we're looking for? It's going to take time with these players, but, right to the end there, forcing the error, that's a disappointing end for an Army position, having a line out 5 metres out and it gets turned over. That's a big win for the Navy to say, do you know what, we finished this game on our terms. It was one moment, but we took it, and that's what they can take away, all those little moments.
Yeah, and the word perfectionist was used earlier, Kiwi, for Sarah Mitchelson. She'll be frustrated by that at the end. She'll, of course, as always, be looking to tweak things as they move forward to Kingsholm.
Yeah, and I guess a plug for that fixture that's Saturday the 16th at Kingsholm, and she will absolutely go away now and work on those small areas where she maybe felt a little bit not let down. I don't want to say quite let down, but Sarah's hypercritical of herself. She's hypercritical of, I guess, she is a perfectionist, so it comes with the territory, but she will go away. I think she'll be, in the whole, really impressed with the defensive efforts. The attack obviously took care of itself in a lot of respects, but there was some really good work in the margins to put the players in the position to score those tries today. So I think she'll be all round happy with today's performance, but inevitable things to work on between now and the next game.
Rachel, we're seeing from all three squads, in fact, a bit of an explosion in recruitment, a number of new women coming to the game, which is fantastic to see, and also coming into the squads. Obviously with the World Cup and the Six Nations on at the moment, it's amazing to see, isn't it, just that influence coming through?
Yeah, obviously we had such an incredible year last year with the Women's Rugby World Cup here, also the Defence World Cup going on. You know, it's not just about inspiring people that are outside of the norm, like we think of schools and we think of clubs and universities. You know, there are lots of women in the military, in the forces, that we can also inspire, and we're seeing new names on team sheets every single year because more players are coming through, which is wonderful to see. And you can see obviously here giving our team the credit that they deserve. You know, phenomenal performance from them yet again, always things to work on, but it's great to see it right in the circle of all the girls.
Speaking of performance, Kath Brazier is pitchside right now with player of the match, Jade Mullen.
So, well, not only winning captain, but also player of the match, Jade Mullen. Let's talk about the team first, and then I'm going to make you do something I hate, you know you hate doing, to talk about yourself. The team first, another convincing win here at Twickenham.
I just want to mention that the Navy's improved so much. Like, that, they made us work for it, like, so much better. So the new coaching staff, the leadership is great, and the Navy really took it to us. So I just want to say I'm really proud of, like, their performance, and obviously, like, making us really work hard for everything. And then for our performance, I asked, like the head coach said, to find the 0.5% to get the 1% better. And everything we were doing, we were just trying to improve and be better. And I can't thank the team enough. Like, they worked hard, and I kept challenging them, and they kept bringing it.
Is it the team that drives you, Jade? Because every year you put out solid performances. You did the same in the IDRC last summer. What drives Jade Mullen to get a player of the match performance like that?
I don't think it's for me. I think the team make me push it. We drive the standards for each other. Sarah Batley, vice captain, pushes me. Heidi Silcox, the most capped player in our team now in the Army, is amazing. And we all just keep pushing each other, and they keep challenging me. So I just keep trying to be better again.
You know they call you Captain Fantastic. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
No, no, it's not down to me. It's a team performance all the time. I love this group of players, and I can't thank them enough, and they keep pushing me, and when I ask them to keep pushing, so yeah, it's all one team.
Jade, you're never going to say good things about yourself, but thank you so much, and well done to the team.
Thank you.
If we can bring in Ellie. You look exhausted. I mean, Jade said it herself, an improvement from last year, still a fairly big margin of defeat, but you can see the lights, can't you? You can see the lights of where you're going.
Yeah, definitely. Like, one of the things we wanted to do coming into this game was obviously shorten that deficit, and we've done that by about 20 points today. That's 4 tries that they've not been able to score. So for me, that's a big win, really.
Where can you see more improvements? Because actually your defence was pretty strong today. Do you think sometimes the occasion got too much again because you had a couple of chances and they were fumbled?
I just think it comes down to like execution again. I do think probably the occasion come, like, obviously the Army, they're a class act really, aren't they? And just the name of them sometimes instills fear. So we've got to kind of keep that like level up there, and we've got to execute where we can.
Your first inter-services as captain, I hope you've enjoyed it and you can take so much away from it, and we'll obviously see you back in Navy colours next year.
Oh yeah, I'm coming back firing. I'm coming for Jade next year.
Thanks, Ellie. Well done.
Fantastic fighting talk from the Royal Navy there. All credit to the Army today. Just lethal once again.
Yeah, we said at the beginning we didn't know whether the weather was going to have an effect or not, but I hate to say, I think it dampened it slightly, but certainly didn't stop that absolute downpour of Army tries.
Yeah.
The Navy are definitely improving, but the Army just year on year are getting stronger as well, and that's I think the issue.
That's the thing. I mean, you see them in that huddle there, you know, getting them talking to by the coach, the immediate debrief, the immediate want to get better. It's pretty terrifying, actually, probably from an RAF point of view, because you guys are going to take them on very shortly.
Yeah, 2 weeks' time we go head-to-head against the Army, and I've been taking notes, don't worry. But no, it's going to be a belter of a match.
Yeah. Like you say, improvement from the Royal Navy on the scoreline from last year. But equally, it's particularly with the weather turning the way it did, it's started to feel like hard work, even just to sit here in the stands, let alone stay in that match and find that level of fight.
Yeah, absolutely, and all credit to the Navy. I was watching the defence down here. They've kept the Army out on the line, which is impressive. They've also the exit strategy. So Jez's work with that team only in a short time, but their strategic understanding of when to exit and how to exit has even improved since the last game.
And Sarah, you were remarking to me that ultimately the Army's tries have come through the wings, through the outside channels there, which means that the Navy have managed to shut the centre of the pitch down.
Yeah, like in particular in weather like this, it's kind of muscle up, head-to-head forwards battle, and actually the Navy stopped a lot of the Army coming through the middle, and they were around the edge, and actually as a defence coach, you're like, well, we can hold our heads high, that it's a positive we can build and work on going into next services.
And ultimately, as they go up now towards the Royal Box, but even just as the final whistle that went there, the Royal Navy had smiles on their faces, so they're obviously immediately taking positives from that performance.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've spoken before in this fixture about it being actually, what are your targets? So right now, it isn't winning, it's not beating the Army, but there will be targets that those players and that squad is given, and hopefully that's where those smiles are from, that they've actually achieved their goals for this fixture.
Right, it's going to be all smiles for the Army, though, as we head up for the lift of the Babcock Trophy. Let's get into the pomp and ceremony of the day.
Well, what a special walk up to the Royal Box for these Army players. Sophie Benevent over Fern Scobie. Summing up their achievements. Well, wonderful examples, the two captains, Jade Mullen and Ellie Brightwell, of power and performance on the pitch, and humility and grace and spirit off as well. Lovely comments about each other's performances and for their teams. Both absolutely selfless individuals, and you can see that team spirit in the victorious Army camp there. And lots of hugs, Charlie Morgan there with the little one. Wonderful to see as well the support that's been there from friends and family. And, really lovely atmosphere here too. Very end of a special day, doubleheader, wonderful showdowns that we've seen. Royal Navy men lifting their trophy earlier, just moments away from that lift for the British Army women. Smiles again, Kiwi from Sarah Mitchelson. As you say, she's always meticulous with her planning, but at least she'll have a little time, I'm sure, to savour this one.
Yeah, she'll take in the atmosphere. She'll be really proud of the girls' performances today. And actually, this is a slightly different setup for the girls. Like in the last couple of years, historically, they would be coming up to lift the Inter-Services Trophy. That, however, is still all to play for. So slightly different twist on today's fixture for the women. But yeah, they'll enjoy this evening. They will embrace the credit and the credibility actually of their performance where due. And yeah, Sarah's still smiling. So something has gone very right for her today.
Rachel, you know the importance, of course, of leadership right at the top level, and just seeing Sarah Batley walking up there with Jade Mullen, that's a special team they have, that leadership team, as we've discussed before.
Yeah, and it starts from the top, doesn't it? The head coach, has been recruited, started her journey in the Army when she was 19, has been player, coach, captain, and when you've got somebody right at the top setting those standards, it filters down, and this squad has got lots of experience, lots of leaders. They've also got lots of young players nurturing them into the fold as well, and I think that's what makes this team so special.
To see trophy, Babcock Trophy, being hoisted aloft as Jade Mullen makes her way up with Sarah Batley for another memorable moment in their wonderful careers. The players clap and get ready, and déjà vu as the British Army once again host aloft the Babcock Trophy, winners 2026, and a performance to boot. What a day it's been. Brilliant from every single one of those red shirts players, dancing as they might, ensure you that celebrations will last well into the evening. wonderful performance from them. The standards that we've come to expect of the British Army being shown in abundance today. Absolutely brilliant. Very interesting looking table now, as we've one game left. And back down pitch side to JJ Chalmers.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, just the one trophy lift there, because the Inter-Services Championship is still up for grabs and will be decided in a couple of weeks' time. The Army still to play the RAF, but there the Army sitting on top of the pile. So all goes down to this on the 16th of May at Kingsholm in Gloucester. It's going to be quite the head-to-head. The Army will be feeling that they want to continue on with another tremendous victory. The RAF, well, they've seen what they're up against, and we will see how it all goes. Looking forward to that then. I mean, as we saw, the Army straight into a debrief, straight looking towards the next thing, I'd imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know part of that debrief will be how proud Sarah was of the team, but absolutely, she knows it's only halfway there, and I'm pretty sure tomorrow she'll be looking at the videos and working out where to improve for that fixture at Kingsholm.
Yeah, and I mean, what a day we've had here, though. Back to the here and now. I mean, the stadium begins to empty out into the streets of Twickenham, and the curfew of 8 o'clock starts to beckon. It's just such a spectacular thing. It never fails to deliver, does it?
No, absolutely not. And I think, again, for women's teams to come out, run out at HQ is unbelievable, and it just shows us an appetite for the game, and there's still growth. We've still got ceilings to hit and go through, but it's exciting space for women's sport.
Absolutely, and you can even admit that as a member of the RAF, that this is the sort of marquee event here, isn't it? And it is because of this community getting to come together. It's a special thing to be part of.
Yeah, absolutely. It means so much to actually have got the game to headquarters. And we appreciate the opportunity that 4 teams in the whole country outside of England get to play here every year. And being one of those teams is absolutely amazing. Or clubs, my apologies. But yeah, absolutely amazing opportunity. And I know how much it means to that squad. It's fantastic.
And whilst we've seen a spectacular performance from this Army side here, a little throwback to the men's fixture from earlier, a victory for the Royal Navy, the first time they've gone back-to-back in 50 years, and they did it in style because the Army pushed them the entire way to the very end.
Yeah, absolutely, toe-to-toe stuff, physical game, but yeah, Navy clinched it. I think Army will probably be gutted, but also I think they stepped up a gear from last year, so it's a close competitive fixture. Unbelievable athletes out there playing some really expansive rugby.
Yeah, what a watch it was. We hope wherever you've been watching in the world, you've enjoyed it. It's been an absolute pleasure to present it to you. Thank you so much to our guests, to our commentary team, and the entire team here at BFBS. We'll see you next year.